The point contact can embrace exotic gauntlets for the Titan just got buffed, and they're now doing double the damage. They're also refunding more melee energy on lightning strike final blows. So in today's video, I've got a prismatic build that's going to take advantage of this new buff. So Guardians, let's get into this.
Yo, it's time to subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. What are you doing?
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous.
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. Like the video, come on.
Hell
you know
yeah.
the drill.
Button.
And slap that like button.
So the point contact can embrace exotic gauntlets as the exotic perk Hammer of the Gods. Defeating targets with your Thunderclap melee restores melee energy. Targets near you when you use your Thunderclap suffer lightning strikes and become jolted. Being amplified will increase the damage of these lightning strikes. So what exactly got buffed about these? Well, in the update 8.1.5, the patch note states that amplified lightning bolts now do 100% increased damage over base, which used to be just 50% increased damage. So it's literally doing double damage now. And the lightning strike final blows now also refund melee energy. So it used to just be the targets you would defeat with the actual thunderclap, but now with the chain lightning, you have more opportunity to get more melee energy back. But the last line does say that they reduced thunderclap refund by 10% to compensate for the increased energy gains on average. But with this build that we're going to get into with some of the mods that we're using, that will pretty much negate the effect, and we're going to have pretty much 100% uptime on our melee ability at all times. So like I said in the beginning, we're going to be on the Prismatic Titan, and we're going to be using the Thunder Crash. Thunder Crash isn't absolutely necessary. Roaming supers just got buffed, so things like Blade Fury and Hammer of Soul are doing really well right now. But if we want to take full advantage and the highest damage we can for our Thunderclap, we're going to need to be amplified as much as possible. So with the Facet of Purpose, whenever we pick up an orb, we become amplified if we're on the Thunder Crash super. So that is why I'm running the Thunder Crash super. Not 100% necessary. There's other ways with this build to become amplified. So if you do want to use a roaming super, go ahead, go for it. It's not going to kill the build. For the abilities, we're using the Thruster just because it has a low base cooldown. Of course, we're using the Arc Melee Thunderclap. You hold down while grounded to plant your feet and begin charging your fist with arc energy. And then when you release the melee button, you unleash a devastating blast in front of you, dealing damage that increases with longer charge time. And then I'm going to be using the Pulse Grenade. It's great for AoE. And I'm also going to be using a fragment that's going to get my Pulse Grenade to jolt enemies. Then for our first aspect, we're going to be using Knockout. Critically wounding a target or breaking their shields infuses your melee attacks with arc energy and increases your melee range and damage for a short time. Defeating targets with melee attacks makes you amplified and restores a portion of your health. Defeating more powerful combatants increase the amount of health restored. So this is the other way I was talking about how we're going to become amplified. Very important you have knockout because you won't get that increased damage with the lightning strikes if we're not amplified. Then we're going to be using Diamond Lance. When we defeat targets with our abilities, we're going to create a stasis lance, and we can throw the lance to freeze targets, or we can slam the lance to the ground to freeze targets. Then for our fragments, first we're taking Facet of Blessing. Melee final blows will start health regeneration, while Transcendence melee final blows start health regeneration for you and nearby allies. So Facet of Blessing is going to pair really well with our knockout aspect. Knockout will instantly restore a portion of our health, and then the fragment Facet of Blessing is going to keep that health regeneration going. Then we also have Facet of Dawn. Powered melee hits against targets make you radiant. Powered melee final blows make you and your nearby ally radiant. So since we're going to be thunderclapping cheeks all over the battlefield, we're going to be radiant a lot, and so will our allies. You also have Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly, and amplified and radiant count as an elemental buff. So we're going to have a really fast cooldown on our class ability. We also have Facet of Purpose. Like I said in the beginning, when we pick up that orb, this will make us amplified, which we're going to need for this build. Then we have Facet of Dominance. Our arc grenades will now jolt targets. Now getting into the artifact mods, the only ones that are really necessary, I would say, are the authorized mods for your melees, because we're going to be using a lot of mods on our armor that have to do with melees. We have a Retinal Burn. Rapid arc weapon precision hits consume armor charge to blind the target, and you can also boost this with a tonic, blinding a target this way instead it emits a blinding burst. And then we have arc compounding. Arc sources deal increased damage to blind targets. So we are going to be using an arc energy weapon so we can blind them with retinal burn. Once they're blinded, we can charge up our thunderclap, and that thunderclap is going to be doing increased damage on top of the double damage that it got from the buff. So that is really nice. And then we're also using the diamond lance to freeze enemies. So I have a couple of the stasis artifact perks that I'm using as well. Armor of Aramis and Hail to the Storm. Now getting into the armor mods, we're using 2 hands-on, which will gain us bonus super energy on melee kills, and the thunderclap can pretty much one bang most of the combatants in the game. So we're going to be getting a lot of super energy for this. Going to be using an arc weapon. So we got the harmonic siphon on our helmet to get orbs. Then on our gauntlets, we have 2 melee kickstarts. So whenever we activate our thunderclap, it's going to refund us melee energy. As you can see in this clip right here, we're getting like 35-40% of our melee back when we use it, which is really nice. And then when we get that thunderclap kill, we have heavy-handed, which is going to spawn us an orb every time we get a melee final blow. Then on the chest piece, we have 2 charged up mods. This will increase the number of stacks of armor charge we can carry by 1. So instead of 3 armor charges, we'll be able to get 5 armor charges. And the more armor charge we have, the more melee energy we'll get back from our melee kickstart mods. Then on the leg armor, we have stacks on stacks. Picking up an orb of power grants you 1 additional stack. So now we'll get 2 armor charges for the price of 1. Then we have an invigoration mod, which will reduce the melee cooldown when we pick up an orb, and a recuperation, which will replenish our health each time we pick up an orb. On the class item, we have Reaper. After we use our class ability and we get a kill with a weapon, that will spawn an orb. And we've got 2 outreach mods on here, which will reduce the melee cooldown when using our class ability. So as you can see, all of the mods that we're using have to do with getting us our melee back. And then if we take a look at the weapons that I'm using the sword breaker, which comes with the pugilist perk on it. And pugilist on a special weapon like a shotgun will give us 20% melee energy back on each kill. And we also have the new Noxious Vetiver submachine gun. It also has pugilist, so this will give us 10% of our melee energy back every time we get a kill. So we're running 2 pugilist weapons for the maximum uptime on our melee charge. And that is going to do it for the build, guys. I will put a dim link down in the description so you can just slap this on if you guys want to try it out. This build is really fun. The double damage for the lightning strikes is really nice. It downs a lot of high health targets in the game. And between all of the mods and all the weapons I'm running with Pugilist, you're basically never going to run out of that thunderclap energy. If you guys are new here, need more Destiny 2 in your life, subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you found this guide helpful. Follow me over on Twitch and TikTok for the live streams, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.